Originally, I trained to be a child psychologist. When you're a child psychologist, you always have 3 patients, mother, father, child, and it's quite hard. So I ended up living in Los Angeles teaching aerobics. But Jane Fonda obviously was a very high-end studio full of Hollywood producers and actresses and actors and singers, but they were all obsessed with what they looked like. It really interested me even then that people who had everything, the highest success, didn't actually ever feel good about themselves. They were under tremendous pressure too. So I trained in hypnotherapy with the idea of simply working with people that had eating disorders, but very quickly I started to work with people that had every kind of disorder. And it was really fascinating how hypnosis will activate what it is that stops people being confident or stops them being the way they want to be. And I had so much success in that, and that kind of led me on to working behind the scenes on lots and lots of television shows. And then I actually started to work in front of the camera on quite a lot of television shows. And then I wrote several books and got my own column in several magazines and newspapers and lectured all over the world. Confidence is really what you feel about yourself. You can all put on the bravado and go, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. But if you don't really believe that inside, it's kind of fake. So you might be able to blag your way through certain things. But when you have real confidence, the difference is you like yourself. You like who you are. You're not arrogant. Your life isn't perfect. But when you really and truly like yourself, your life is much, much, much happier. And the other thing about confidence is you don't have the internal voice going, oh my God, you fucked that up, or oh, you did that wrong, or you're such an idiot. You stop all that and you're actually nice to yourself. Most of the people I work with on confidence want to be confident enough to ask for a pay rise, to get a better job, to go for an interview and to come across as the best person in the room. They want confidence to speak in public, to give a sales. But a lot of my clients are saying, I want to lose weight, but all my friends go out for a pizza and they can't say, oh, excuse me, waiter, I don't want a pizza, I just want a salad, because they haven't got the confidence to draw attention to themselves and say, I don't want that. They can't say when everyone's ordering fish and chips, I just have fish without the batter on it, because you have to actually like yourself enough to say, I don't eat that kind of rubbish. Can you get me something else? And a lot of people just can't do that because they feel uncomfortable asking for different things. They feel uncomfortable sending food back. I mean, one of the things I do in my book is show people even how to get a discount, because when you like yourself, it's amazing what you can do. You can get money off, you can get upgraded, because you approach all of that with a very different air, which is not arrogance. It's a kind of quiet self-esteem that makes people like you and want to do things for you. So a client would come to me and go, oh, I'm not confident. I couldn't possibly, put myself forwards. I worked with somebody years ago who said, I want to be a famous actor. That's all I've wanted to do. But I could never get an agent. I could never go for auditions, and I could never put myself on stage. So clearly that was a great problem if you wanted to be an actor. So when somebody comes in and says, I'm not confident, I've never been confident, I don't know how to ask someone on a date, I don't know how to ask my boss for a raise because I am not confident and I've never been confident, that's not true. You will never find an unconfident baby. If you take your baby home from hospital and shut it in a room, you can guarantee it's going to scream for hours, because the baby's belief is, I'm here, I'm gorgeous, someone's going to come and feed me even if it's 3 a.m. because I deserve it. And all babies are born with incredible confidence. You try telling a 2-year-old they can't have an ice cream, they don't go, oh, okay. They ask you 8, 9, 10 times because they have a belief that says, if I ask, I'll get it. If I keep going, I'll get what I want. We're all born with that. Unfortunately, life experience for many people tend to diminish it. So what hypnosis does, it will take you right back to the time where the innate confidence that you were born with started to diminish, and it will show you what happened. Instead of people going, I've never had confidence, they go, oh, I see, right, when I was 2 or 3 or 4, that happened, and that made me feel that I shouldn't be confident. And once they've accessed that information, they can never again say, it's just me, I can't help it. So they go, oh yeah, I see, that happened, but now that's not me, and I can be confident all over again. Hypnosis is great because it shows you the little kind of journey you went on and where your confidence went, but it also shows you how to get it back and keep it forever. For instance, you're reading in school and you want to read the word stomach and you say stomach and all the kids laugh at you, and then you think, I'm never going to speak in public again. The number one thing people want is to be comfortable with others, to be able to speak, to be able to give presentations. But for a lot of people, it's actually just going out on a date, being around people, not feeling inadequate. So that the number one thing is getting away from this feeling of being inadequate, not putting yourself down, and being comfortable talking talking to all kinds of people. Because how the brain works, I mean, people think the brain is complicated. It's not. Your brain's number one job is to find out what causes you pain and then make sure you never, ever, ever go through that pain again. If you have to read in class and you try to read the word soiled and you say solid because you're nervous and all the kids laugh at you and you go bright red and then they laugh at you a bit more, your brain searches what's caused this pain, speaking in public, drawing attention to yourself. And then it goes, right, well, my job is to make sure you don't experience pain, so you're never going to speak in public again. You're never going to draw attention to yourself. And if you try to, I'm going to give you a massive panic attack, and that way you won't experience pain. So the brain does what it thinks you want, but of course it's not what you want at all. And so many people who want to speak in public just can't because they've had these negative experiences in their past. And it's very easy to get rid of them once you access that. Your brain always does what it thinks you want, but it's usually acting on information that is years and years old and is completely irrelevant. There's two things you can do that I promise will change your life. One is stop criticizing yourself. If you just imagined you're walking around with a little tape recorder listening to yourself, and the minute you get up, you look at them and go, oh God, I look terrible today. I look awful. This outfit looks horrible on me. I've gained weight. And then they go to work and go, oh God, I forgot to charge the phone. I'm such an idiot. And they come home and go, oh, I've ruined that thing now. I put too much salt in it. And if you imagine if you spoke to your best friend like, you look awful in the outfit, you're a complete idiot because you forgot to charge your phone. You've ruined the thing you're cooking. You're never going to get there on time. You're a twit because you came out without the map. If you spoke to your friend like that, they wouldn't be your friend for very long. I mean, I like my friend. I would never say to her, you're such a stupid cow, because I like her. And if I wouldn't say that to my friend, why would I say that to myself? Be your own friend. Listen to how you talk to yourself. And then just change it. Instead of saying, I'm such a moron because I went out with that direction, go, yeah, I did. I went out with that directions, but I won't do that again. Next time I'll remember. And if you go out the address, instead of going, God, I forgot the address, what an idiot, just go, it's okay, I'll call them, they'll give me the address. So stop this negative criticism, because the problem with the mind is that while it will screen out to a degree criticism that comes from other people, what you say to yourself, your mind believes without question. And the most important words you'll ever hear are the words you say to yourself, but you have great power to change them. That is the most important thing, to stop this criticism and to stop this negative voice in your head. Like when my daughter comes home because she's forgotten something, I always say, what have you remembered? I never say, what have you forgotten? I've remembered something, not I've forgotten something. So like yourself, treat yourself the way you treat your best friend. Be nice to yourself. We're designed to change habits. It's very easy to change habits. When people say, I can't change, that's so wrong. We are designed to change. Make a mental note, or even a real note. Write down on your phone or in your notebook how many times you call yourself names every day, and then change that. So if you call yourself a bloody idiot or a moron, stop it. Just say to yourself, I'm a human being. I'm allowed to make mistakes. The person who never made a mistake never made anything. And how you learn is from making mistakes. So when you make a mistake, go, I learned from that. That's a learning curve. I won't do that again, rather than calling yourself names. It won't stop forever. You're still going to call yourself names. When you do, just go, that's not true. I'm not that. I'm just forgetful. Years ago, my daughter must have been a therapist's daughter, because I went to pick her up from school when she was about 6, and her teacher went, oh my God, I've just been put in my place by a 6-year-old, because I said to her, oh, your mother's hopeless. And she went, my mum is not hopeless. She's just late. You're not your behavior. You can be late, but you're not that. You're just late. So instead of going, oh God, I'm hopeless, you go, no, I'm not hopeless. I'm late. I'm not stupid. I just dropped something. So it's the same thing. Don't give yourself these labels, hopeless, idiotic, moron. Instead say forgetful or a little bit late. Your body has to match your thinking. It's never going to be the other way around. You have to act in a way that absolutely matches your thinking. So when you say, I'm clumsy, I'm forgetful, I'm clumsy, I'm forgetful, you can guarantee you become clumsy and forgetful. If you say, I've got fantastic memory, I remember everything, very quickly that will actually become the case. You may wake up believing that you feel terrible, but that's because you keep telling yourself that you're terrible. If you wake up going, I'm shattered, I'm exhausted, then that's how you feel. If you go, yeah, I'm a little bit tired, but I'll be wide awake in 10 minutes. What you say becomes what you are. The way you are is only down to 2 things, and they are the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. So when you say, I'm exhausted and I'm shattered, that's a very, very powerful picture and a very powerful word. And you have to respond to that. When you go, I'm mildly tired, but I'll be wide awake in 15 minutes, it's a very different image that you respond respond to. So you have a huge responsibility to be aware of the pictures and words you're making. And when you change them, literally it will change your life. Physical exercise makes you feel great, because when you exercise, by nature, you start being nice to yourself. You think, well, this is good, I'm doing this. I can do more sit-ups this week than I did last week. So by nature, any exercise that you're doing tends to make you be nicer to yourself. We're all designed to run and jump and leap, but if you exercise and hate it, that really doesn't work. So you've got to do an exercise that you love, and you don't have to do it every day, but every other day is good. You shouldn't be doing that 90 minutes of hard slog that you hate. Skipping for 10 minutes on a trampoline is better for you than going for an hour run, because you're protecting your joints. It's not going to exhaust you, and you'll enjoy it more. Don't criticize yourself is number one, and don't let in negative criticism from other people is number two. One of the most important things is not to let negative criticism in. So when someone says to you, you look dreadful in that, what you should say is, oh, thanks for sharing. But you don't have to let that in. Very happy people by nature are benevolent, and very miserable people are quite critical. So when people are happy, they don't say mean things. When people are unhappy, it's like a pecking order. A miserable person wants you to be miserable, then they feel equal. So they will often say things to put you down. And it's very important to not let that in. So if someone says something really mean or spiteful or cruel, you can either say to them, gosh, you don't like yourself very much, do you? Or you must be having a really bad day to be like this. Say to them, you know what? Critical people have the most criticism reserved for themselves. And I've sort of realized that everything you say to me is actually what you feel about you. And if you keep telling them, oh, you're showing me again how dissatisfied you are with you, believe me, they very quickly stop, because they know that you've got it. Because that's what critical people are. The person they are most unhappy with is themselves, and they reflect that out, not in. So just saying to them, you're very unhappy with yourself, you're showing me how dissatisfied you are with you, makes them stop and think. Or you can just say, thanks for sharing, luckily I don't agree with you. And you see, you're not letting it in. And if it's your boss and it's not appropriate to say, thanks for sharing, but I don't agree with you, just decide, I'm not going to let that in. It's not true. They're having a bad day, and just let it go. I love this story about someone who went to see a holy man and was saying to him, you know, everything you say is rubbish, it's all bogus, it's all stupid. And he continued to smile and beam and smile and beam. And this poor journalist who wanted to diminish him got more and more exasperated. Finally said, I don't understand, I'm criticizing you, why are you smiling? And he went, well, you see, if you try to give me a gift and I don't accept it, who's got the gift? And he went, me. Well, exactly, I don't accept these comments. And that's the truth. If someone's trying to give you something and you don't accept it, they haven't given it to you. So people can say very mean, unkind, harsh things, but you don't have to let them in, because it's usually about them, and you just have to deflect that and not let it in. Just be aware, you know, don't let it in. You don't have to let anything in unless you choose to. So if you want a reduction or a price, you must never ask a question that someone can say no to. So you don't say, can I have a discount? Because they say no. You don't say, can you reduce this? Because they say no. You say, what's the best price you can give me on this? You have to always ask people a question they can't say no to. How much are you going to take off for this? What are you going to give me in addition when I buy this? And if they go, well, we can't reduce it, go, that's fine, but what can you give me? Can you give me an extended warranty? You kind of ask people questions that they have to say yes to. It takes self-esteem to do that, but when you do it the first time, you probably feel really nervous and worried, but when they actually do it, you think, wow, that worked. And then you feel more comfortable doing it again and again and again. It's like guys asking girls out. First time it's really nerve-wracking, but they say yes, they think, oh good, they said yes, I'll ask another girl out. And it becomes easy, because the more you do it, the easier it is. The easier it is, the more you do it. But don't ask questions that people can say no to. So if you want a pay rise and you say to your boss, you know, I've been looking at what someone doing my job for this amount of years gets paid, and I don't get paid that, so what can I do to get that pay? They can't say no to that. And even if they say, look, we can't pay you this much at the moment, go, that's okay. What can you do? Can you give me extra holidays? Can you give me perks? Ask a question in a different way, because when you stop hearing the word no, it grows your confidence again, because you're learning great negotiating skills, which start by never asking a question that someone would say no attitude. Every time you get up, I want you to say out loud, I am enough. Say it when you clean your teeth, say it when you're in the shower, because if you link that to teeth cleaning and showering when there's nothing else you can do, you say it all the time. The number one reason people have issues is they don't feel enough. They don't feel pretty enough, smart enough, talented enough, rich enough. As we get older, we do that. Oh, I've got cellulite, I'm not a size 6, I haven't got a designer wardrobe, therefore I'm not enough. And that isn't true. So every day, say many times, I am enough. And very quickly you'll start to feel that. And then when you say to yourself things like, yeah, but I'm not enough because I don't earn X amount, you just go, well, that's true, but I'm still enough. I haven't got a designer wardrobe, I'm still enough. I haven't got a posh car, I'm still enough. You sort of run out of objections, then your mind goes, you know what, you say this so much, it must be true, and then it lets it in. But keep doing it even after you've let it in. Say it 10 times in the morning and 10 times at night, and that's fine. That's all you have to do. And if you're going for an interview or going on an important date or about to meet someone really hot, just keep saying again, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. Because when you know that you're enough, nobody can ever make you feel less than them. That is the most important thing in the world, to know that you're enough. And we all are enough, more than enough.
The reason why I'm enough is so powerful is that, any psychiatrist will tell you that the common denominator of people's emotional issues come from not feeling enough. If you came in with your problem and it's like an onion and you're peeling away the layers of, I don't feel pretty enough, I keep eating cake and cookies, I don't ever get to go to the gym, or I don't ever seem to reach my potential. Whatever problems people come in with, the real crux of all their problems is they don't feel enough. They don't think they're good enough or lovable enough or smart enough or interesting enough. That is a modern problem we have, that most people don't feel enough. And if you look at Marilyn Monroe or Princess Diana or Amy Winehouse or Philip Seymour Hoffman, there's so many people who had everything. What they also had was this belief that I'm not enough. Michael Jackson was the same. We see so many people who have everything. We see so many people who are beautiful and depressed. You can look at Britney Spears when she started to shave off all her hair. You can look at people in the music business and see, oh, there's something not quite right here, because when you go into that world, you always have to be thinner, prettier, better, and they start to have surgery because they want to be something else. It's a great shame that we're teaching the generation of women that natural breasts, a natural butt, that's not good enough, and they've got to look ridiculously high and round. We look at people like Nicki Minaj and think, well, that's normal. And it's a great shame that we're bringing up a whole generation of girls who think that they're not enough just the way they are. I really blame the media for that. And of course now men are getting that too, because they look at guys with 6-packs. And the way around that is to say every day, I'm enough. I always have been. The day I was born, I was enough, and I'll be enough right up until the day I'm no longer on the planet. I'm enough, and I always have been, I always will be. When people want to find love, they start to try and change their outfits. They go on a diet, they buy nicer clothes, they get their hair done, they get their nails done. I'm talking about women, but men are the same. They try also to buy a new outfit and to turn up in a nicer car, even if just leased it, because we're saying, look, I've got all this stuff, this great body, so therefore I must be enough. But when you know you're enough, when you can say every day, I am enough. Yes, I've got cellulite, I'm still enough. Sure, I could be 10 pounds lighter, I'm still enough. I don't have a nice car, I'm still enough. Your brain will never argue with that. When you start to go, yeah, I'm a goddess, I'm a rock star, your brain goes, you're not really a goddess. You're not really a rock star because you're driving around in this little crappy rented car. When you say I'm enough, it's so true that your mind will never, ever, ever object to it. And once you know that you're enough, and it doesn't take long to know it, everyone around will also know that you're enough. So when you elevate your own value, everyone around you also elevates their value. When you increase your own sense of self-worth, self-value and self-image, everyone around you will start to also increase their sense of what you're worth. But you see, a lot of people are very arrogant because they're trying to persuade everyone that there's something. That's the other end of the scale of insecurity. You don't have to convince anyone except yourself. I'm a great believer in putting I'm enough on your phone alert so it pings every morning at 8 o'clock and 8 o'clock at night says I'm enough. Write it on your mirror in huge lipstick letters. Put it on your screensaver and say it to yourself. I'm a great believer that when you're cleaning your teeth or having a shower, that's the time when you go, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. Because what else are you going to do when you're in the shower? That's that's a good time to link in a behavior. And as you start to say it, your mind will start to very, very quickly believe it, and then you will start to feel it. So it's really important to tell yourself that you're enough on a regular basis, so that your mind really, really gets it and lets it in. And then you can have anything you want, but it really starts with knowing that you're enough. And if you don't know you're enough, no one else will know it. And if you want love, the thing you have to believe is that you're lovable. Getting a new outfit to believe you're lovable is very superficial, but saying I'm enough, I'm lovable, I'm great will make the person you're dating also believe that. And in a professional capacity, if you say that at work, your colleague, your boss, your clients, your customers will also start to believe that too. But until you believe that you're enough, no one else is going to believe it if you don't believe it. Muhammad Ali, he was the best example of that ever. He said, you know what? I said I was the greatest before I even knew I was, and then, wow, something really weird happened. I became the greatest. He would go into the ring going, I'm the greatest, because he wanted really to defeat his opponents, but because he said it so much. And he never said it with arrogance. He said it in an interesting way that made us all love him for it. And no one said, wow, that Muhammad Ali is arrogant. No, he's the greatest. That's what he is. He said it, and we believed it. And it's very important that we understand that what we say about ourselves is an energy, and the energy goes out into the world, and people match and return what you think about you. Of course, there's that arrogance of I'm brilliant me, I'm great me, but we know that it's not real, and so we don't believe that. And then we get other people who are very self-effacing and modest, but what you really believe about yourself to be true, people will pick up. That's good news. But the other good news is that you can choose every day what to believe about yourself. And why would you ever think you're not enough? There isn't a baby on the planet who isn't born knowing they're enough. So you've got to tell yourself you're enough. And because you came onto the planet with that belief, all you're doing is reactivating and regenerating something you were born with anyway. It's nothing unusual, just getting back something that really is your birthright. Your mind will never disagree with the fact that you're enough. First of all, because you were born with knowing that. If you took a baby home and shoved it in a cupboard, it will cry for days because its inner belief is someone is going to come and attend to my needs because I deserve it and I'm worth it. Of course, it's a bit like if you bring home a puppy or a kitten, they'll bound up to you and go, I'm here, cutest thing, and you are going to attend to my needs. Because if you kick that puppy enough, it will start to run off and hide behind the fridge and think, oh, maybe I'm not enough because no one here likes me. That must be my fault. Very much like humans. But we all start off knowing that we're enough. And so repeating that every day is such an easy thing because your mind will never object to it. It will never argue with it. It will never resist it. And no one else will ever go, no, you're not enough. But the other great thing is it's not a competitive thing. You're not saying I'm enough, but they're not. What you're saying is I'm equal to everyone in the world and everyone is equal to me. So I can go to my boss and ask for promotion because I'm good enough. I can go to my boss and instead of begging and pleading for a pay rise, I can go, look, I'm putting in these hours, I'm doing this, and I really deserve it, and I'm worth it. Because when you elevate your sense of self-worth, and it's real, it's genuine, it's authentic, people around you really get that thing of, yeah, you are worth it, and you do deserve it. When people are stuck in a job they don't like and they're not getting the salary they think they should get, they usually have an inner belief which is, I'm not worth more, I don't deserve more, I can't ask for more. And it's always interesting to find out, where does that come from? Where did you ever get that belief that you're not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough? Usually it's come from someone else. It's very rarely come from you. And so I tend to go back and have a look at that, because all babies come on the planet with the same belief. I'm here, I'm gorgeous, someone's going to come and take care of my need. If you're stuck in a relationship that isn't working for you, if you're stuck in a career that isn't making your heart sing, if you haven't got what you want, it's because you're dialoguing with yourself very bad. Some people will say things like, my job's a nightmare, my career is stressing me out, this paperwork is driving me up the wall, or these kids are making me insane. You're telling your mind you don't want what you've got. Or for instance, if you want to have your own business and you say, well, I really want that, but I'm going to have to put in all these hours, there's no sick pay, there's no holiday pay, I've got to work weekends. sense. When you tell your mind that what you want is going to cause you pain, it will do everything to stop you getting it. So the way around that is you've got to say, I want it, I've chosen it, I want to put in the hours, I want to be up all night with a brand new baby having no sleep. The minute you can get your brain to not only see that you want it, but to link pleasure to it. If you look at how athletes work, athletes never go, yeah, I'm training Olympics, oh, it's so boring, or yeah, I'm training for the Olympics, it's so hard, it's so tough, I can't go out drinking with my friends. They have to tell their mind, I want it, want it, want it, want it, want it. And if you study any athletes, they're very disciplined, but they don't bitch and moan. They say, no, I like it, I love training, I like having this clean diet, I enjoy it, I love performing. They never go, oh my God, going out stadium to crowds is terrifying. They have to tell themselves better things. And of course, I work with a lot of Olympic athletes and royalty and rock stars. The ones that make it do the same thing. They constantly tell themselves, I want this, I've chosen this makes me feel good, I like putting in the hours, I like what I have to do, it makes me happy. Because your brain's job is to come up with resistance to anything you tell it you don't want to do. And when you go, I want it, in the same way that junkies go, I want to stick a needle in my arm, they don't go, oh, it might hurt me. They link pleasure to it. And you get to choose every day what to link pleasure to. And you have to learn to link pleasure to where you want to go. Because if you link pain to it, you're not going to get there. Your brain believes everything you tell it. Your brain doesn't care if what you tell it is right or wrong, good or bad, healthy or unhealthy. It believes it. So you might as well tell it great things. If you put your hand up to your mouth and go, I'm eating a lemon, I'm eating a lemon, I'm eating a lemon, you can make your mind believe you're eating a lemon. If you can make your mind believe you're eating a lemon just by the words you say, then you realize you have a choice every day. Use amazing words and get amazing results, or use negative words and get negative results. And when you have a brilliant brain, which everyone has, you have a choice. Rationalize why you feel so terrible, or talk yourself out of it. It's much better. Talk yourself out of it. I want it and I'm prepared to do whatever it takes. I'm even going to enjoy it. And then you'll enjoy it. We have choices every minute of every day, and you've got to make the right choices. I studied the way the brain works for nearly 30 years, and I realized a long time ago that the brain likes what is familiar. We haven't changed that much from being in a tribe. And in a tribe, what made you safe was familiar. The same people, the same food, the same area. You didn't really wander off outside of your tribe. You didn't invite strange people into the tribe. And you didn't eat food that you didn't recognize. And so our brain to this day is actually programmed to reject what is not familiar. And people don't understand that. What you mean, my brain is really going to reject success? Oh yeah, you're not used to it. In the very same way that some women who have a father that puts them down or diminishes them or doesn't give them attention, then they meet a guy that does the same thing and it's familiar. The brain goes, oh, I recognize this, I know how to deal with this, I'm used to this. When they meet a nice guy that praises them and pays the bills, they go, oh, he was too good for me. No one can be too good for you. What you're saying is his behavior was so unfamiliar, it was so alien, I rejected it and went back to what I knew. And so if you come from a family where no one's worked or no one's had money, lottery winners, interesting enough, who come from poverty will get rid of all that money, because investing is so unfamiliar. What's familiar is spending what you've got till it runs out because you never had enough. But when they get a lot, like millions, they just spend it the way they spend $100. They just buy stuff without thinking about it. And so our brain really is wired to reject anything that's unfamiliar, and it prefers what is familiar. I used to do makeover shows with women who were fat, and we'd give them a trainer, dietitian, exercise. We'd make them look amazing, and when the cameras stop rolling, they take off all the makeup, put on their tracksuit, and order a pizza. The thing about the familiar unfamiliar is your brain loves what is familiar. That's the truth. But you can make anything familiar. If you get up and run every day, it becomes familiar. You take sugar out of your tea and stop eating desserts for long enough, it becomes familiar. You start dating someone who's nice to you, or you get used to working at weekends on your business, it becomes familiar. So the truth is, your brain tries to go back to what is familiar. It doesn't like what is unfamiliar. That's true, but it is your job, if you want to have a successful relationship, if you want to have a successful body where you eat well and work out, if you want success in your career, in your love life, your relationship, because if you've got to make what is unfamiliar familiar, praise yourself. That's a great thing. thing to make familiar. But look at what you want in your life and decide to make it familiar starting right now. Praise yourself, tell yourself you're good, believe that you're ambitious and dedicated, and any familiar stuff that you don't like procrastinating, putting yourself down, oh, it's too hard, it's too difficult, it's too boring, make that unfamiliar. You can choose every day, and there isn't that much difference in people who are really successful and who aren't, except the ones who are successful, they take full responsibility every day for the pictures they make in their head, for the words they say to themselves, and they make positive stuff familiar. And eventually, anything that you do enough, it stops being what you do and it becomes who you are. So many of us never allow it to become who we are. We think it's work, and so we just give up, instead of realizing that if you do something enough, you start to love it. It's like running, it's like going to the gym. First it's boring, then it's hard, but if you keep going, you eventually start to love it. Pick one area, look at something in your life that's familiar, and just start to work on it. I'm going to make that unfamiliar, and I'm going to make opposite of that familiar, and take on an athlete's attitude to it so it becomes easier. And it absolutely will work, but you have to stick at it. You know, if you have tea with 4 sugars and you take those 4 sugars out, it tastes horrible. And then after a few weeks, you think, oh my God, did I really drink that every day? It's disgusting, because anything that you do becomes familiar, and anything you stop becomes unfamiliar. But the biggest thing to make familiar is praising yourself, and the biggest thing to make unfamiliar is criticizing yourself, diminishing yourself. My general philosophy is that the old method of therapy is really ineffective. It doesn't serve people to go and have an hour of therapy with a therapist every week for months and months and months. I believe in curing people in the room. So my philosophy is you can fix someone in an hour. An hour is plenty of time to find out what's wrong with someone and to cure them. Because really the things that make us unhappy are that we're thinking the wrong thoughts. We have beliefs that are very outdated. And of course, as children, we learn what we live. So if you live with people who aren't good to you, or make you feel that you're not good enough, or you don't deserve love, or you've got to work hard to get love, or you're not smart enough, cute enough, interesting enough. Once you buy into that as a child, and as a child you don't have any choice, because you must idealize your parents because you're dependent on them, or whoever's raising you. No kid can go, yeah, my grandmother's ill, or my dad's poor, or my mum's unhappily married. They just think, oh, they don't like me, I guess I'm not likable. And the problem is that when you buy into that, you keep that belief forever, unless you get to see a great therapist who can in minutes undo all of that and make you realize that you are way more than enough. I kind of free people from negative beliefs, but it's much more than that. A lot of people try and work out what I do, and they always say you give people freedom, and I do. I free people from all their issues and make them feel great about themselves. Science has proven that something happens in the brain when you use hypnosis. When you use my kind of transformational hypnosis, something magical happens in the brain. The brain changes during hypnosis in a way that it cannot change out of hypnosis. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to install anything in you that's scary, because of course I can only make you do what you want to do. Hypnosis is absolutely safe. It's actually mentioned in the Bible. In the Bible it says you will be transformed in the blinking of an eye, which is the form of hypnosis. I've never had once anyone claim on my insurance, touch wood. I've never had to use it. I've never had any situation that's been dangerous. The only thing people ever say to me on a regular basis is, wow, I've learnt more in an hour with you than 10 years with my regular therapist, and I wish I'd known this years ago. I guarantee it's safe because it's so natural. You know, I'm talking to you and that can't be dangerous. I'm helping you, but I can only promise you it is absolutely safe and it's wonderful. Everything I have in my life I owe to hypnosis. I wouldn't have my daughter if I hadn't hypnotized myself past that doctor saying I could never have one. I wouldn't have my beautiful marriage if I hadn't decided to change the belief that I was hideous and stupid. So to be hypnotized, I want you to make yourself very comfortable. I prefer you to sit back or lie back with your feet and hands not touching. The magic is that you roll up your eyes, keep your eyeballs up, close the lids down. And if you do that, you'll find that straight away you go into what's called REM, rapid eye movement. You only get REM when you're dreaming or going into hypnosis, because it means you're in a deeply suggestible state. So I want you to rehearse with me. Just look up as high as you possibly can, as if you're trying to look into your own eyebrows. Fix your eyes at a real or imagined spot overhead, and keeping your eyes glued to that real or imagined spot, just breathe in and breathe out. And the trick is to keep your eyeballs up, but at the same time just close the lids down. So just rehearse that. So when you're ready, look up as high as you possibly can, as if you're trying to look into your own eyebrows. Fix your eyes at a real or imagined spot overhead, and keeping your eyes glued to that real or imagined spot, just breathe in and breathe out. And again, keep your eyeballs up, breathe in, breathe out. Each time you blink, that just means that's hypnosis coming upon you. And just one more time, keep your eyes rolled up, breathe in, hold it, and as you exhale, keep your eyeballs up, but just close your eyelids right down, all the way down. And as your eyelids shut down, just shut them down now. As your eyelids shut down, you can feel a fluttering sensation in your eyelids, and that's a good sign. It's a great sign. So now you can forget all about the position of your eyeballs and just let yourself relax. And I want you to just drop your chin just a fraction, because I want you to get that same looking down feeling that you might get as you look over a balcony or down a flight of stairs. You can feel that feeling of looking down 10 steps. Right now you are moving on to step 10. As each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. And as you take step 9, you can even feel your feet making contact with step 9. And as you take step 8, you can hear your feet making contact with step 8. As you take step 7, you can feel your feet, hear your feet, see your feet treading each step. As you simply go deeper. And deeper simply means you're going deeper into an awareness of yourself. You're now taking step 6 as each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 5, you are halfway down as you gently, calmly, easily move on over to an even deeper level. You're taking step 4. As each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 3. As you go deeper into an awareness of yourself, you're taking step 2. You're taking step 1, and you can just allow yourself to go deeper, to drift deeper, to sink deeper. You don't need to make anything happen. You can just let it happen. So just let yourself go deeper. And every time I click my fingers and say the word sleep deeper, go deeper, drift deeper, you're going deeper. Remember, you're not going to sleep. Hypnosis is a sleep of the nervous system. So just let yourself go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper. And as you go deeper, I'm going to show you how extraordinarily suggestible you are. So I want you to imagine that you're holding in your left hand half of a big, juicy lemon. And you can squeeze that lemon and you can feel the waxy skin. And as you breathe in, you can smell that wonderful smell, because nothing quite smells like a lemon. And I want you to bring that hand up to your mouth. I want you to open your mouth. And while you're staying in hypnosis, I want you to imagine pushing that half a lemon into your mouth. And as you push that half a lemon into your mouth, you're chewing out the flesh, you're sucking out the juice, you are sucking and chewing and biting that lemon. And what's happening is your mind believes you're eating a lemon, and you are producing saliva to a thought, because every thought you think has a physical reaction, an emotional response. And now you can see already that you are suggestible. There is no lemon, but because your mind believes there's a lemon, your body is reacting to the lemon. So you've just proved to yourself that you are very suggestible. That's a great thing. The fluttering of your eyelids is proof. The blinking is proof. And now making saliva is proving to you that you are incredibly suggestible. And you know how suggestible you are, which you now do know. You have to learn to give yourself better suggestions. Your mind doesn't care if what you tell it is right or wrong. good or bad, healthy or unhealthy, true or false. It just lets it in. So now you can forget all about the lemon and you can just allow yourself to go deeper. And I want you to imagine that you are taking a journey back. You're simply going back to the house you lived in between the age of 2 and 10. And if you lived in several houses between the age of 2 and 10, it doesn't matter. Your mind is going to pick one. So as I talk to you, you're starting to go back in time. You can feel yourself being drawn back, being pulled back, being moved back. And you are going back to your childhood home. The childhood home where you learned some messages and acquired some beliefs that haven't really been very helpful to you. And as you think about that, all of a sudden you are standing outside your childhood home. You're looking up at the home where you were raised. And now you're walking through the front door. And you are being absolutely drawn to the bedroom that was your bedroom. And now you're standing outside the door of your childhood bedroom. You're reaching out your hand, and your hand is on the door handle. And you're about to turn that door handle and go into that room. And in that room is you as a little child. You as a small child that were picking up some beliefs about being rejected. And as you go into that room, you know instinctively that that little child in that room is you as a child. And they know that you are them all grown up, and you and this little child have a complete affinity with each other. So feel that door handle in your palm. Turn the handle. Go into that room. There's a little bed that you slept in. And sitting on that bed is you as a small child. And your mind's already picked the exact age that is necessary. And you're sitting down with this little child. You're going to ask them some questions, and they will answer you immediately because they know that you are them all grown up, just as you know that this is a young version of you. So I want you to ask that little child one question. Are you happy? As you ask that question, are you happy? Their answer comes into your mind immediately like that. Are you happy? And here's another question. What makes you unhappy? What causes you to be unhappy? I want you to ask that child another question. Do you feel loved? Do your parents or the people who are raising you love you? And here's one more question. What is it that the people that are raising you do or don't do that make you feel loved or not loved? So look at this little child. Understand this little child. You have a total affinity with them. You get them. They get you. And I'm going to take you back now to the first time in your life when you had an experience of being rejected and it hurt you. It made you somewhat fragile. You don't have to try. When you're dealing with the subconscious mind, no effort is required ever. So just go with me. As I count backwards from 5 to 1, you will effortlessly, easily go back to a scene that is all to do with an experience of being rejected and how that affected you. So are you ready? Let's go. On the count of 5, you are easily, effortlessly being drawn back to a scene, place, event, and time that is all to do with feeling rejected. On the count of 4, you are becoming years younger. On the count of 3, years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body. You are drifting back right now to a vivid, vital, crucial, absolutely significant scene, all to do with feeling rejected. You're becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter, just be there. And as I click my fingers, a vivid scene is springing into your mind. It's rather like you're switching on your computer and the screen is warming up. You're putting on the television. A picture is coming up. In your mind is coming and forming a picture of you. And I want you to look at this scene and I want you to just ask and answer a few questions. In fact, you can answer these questions. The answer will come.
How old are you in this scene? Are you inside or are you outside? And more than anything, what are you doing, seeing, feeling? This is the only question you need to answer. What are you feeling and what are you experiencing? Stay in that scene. As I click my fingers again, your ears are wide open. Your ears are wide open. You can hear what is being said around you, about you, and to you. You're in a scene that is all to do with an early experience of being rejected. And I want you to look at that scene rather like a detective. Of course, you don't have to relive this scene. You may be feeling sad right now. You may be feeling curious, but remember, you're not reliving this scene. You are reviewing it. You're reviewing information that's going to set you free. So look at that scene. Be aware of what you are experiencing, what you're learning. You see, we learn what we live. I want you to look at what you're living in that scene and what you are learning from that scene. And in a minute, we're going to go on to another scene, but I want you to be aware that when you've been on the planet for just a few years, you're already forming beliefs. You're coming to conclusions. You're making decisions about yourself. People don't like me. I seem to upset people. They prefer my brother, my sister, my cousin, my friends. And it may not be your parents, it may be a teacher, it may be a babysitter. But you're in a scene where someone is giving you a message that makes you feel that you're not good enough, you're not lovable enough, and you're being rejected. So just hold that information as if it's now on a DVD that you can come back and look at. And now we're going to a second, even more powerful, even more vivid scene. So again, on the count of 5, you are drifting way back to a vivid, vital, crucial, absolutely significant scene that is all to do with you being rejected. Again, you are becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter, years, months, weeks, days, are peeling away from your body. On the count of 4, 3, 2, and 1. You are going right back, way back, drifting back, traveling back to a scene that is all to do with you feeling rejected. Just be there. And again, I want you to look at that scene, and again, it's like your computer warming up. In this scene, are you inside or outside? Is it daytime or nighttime? Who are you with? And again, the only question that really matters, what are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What are you feeling and experiencing about rejection? What is someone telling you about you that is making you form this opinion that people don't like you? Or maybe you have a belief that you have to really earn love, that nothing is just given to you. You've got to work so hard for it. Other people seem to get love and praise, but you have to earn it. So stay in that scene. Imagine again that you've now got a second DVD. And now we're going to go back to just one more scene. The most powerful, the most revealing scene of all. Again, all to do with your perception of being rejected, because of course the scene isn't going to affect you as much as the meaning you attach to it. So here we go. On the count of 5, you are drifting back to a vivid, vital, crucial, absolutely significant scene that is all to do with how, why, where, and absolutely when you felt or you were rejected. Again, you are becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter, years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body. You're drifting back to a vivid, vital scene. You're becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. Just be there. And as I click my fingers, the scene is popping into your mind, and you can see that scene. And you can feel the feeling that you felt then, as if this just happened yesterday. So stay in that scene. And I want you to be aware. What are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What are you hearing? I want you to really feel the feeling like it was yesterday. Here you are, a sweet little kid. The most gorgeous, lovable little kid. but you don't feel gorgeous. You don't feel lovable. Maybe it's a friend at school that won't let you play with them. Maybe you're being excluded. Maybe you don't feel smart enough or pretty enough or handsome enough or interesting enough. Maybe your parents have a favorite and it isn't you. Or maybe you feel that whatever you do, whatever grade you get, it isn't good enough. However hard you work, more is required of you. So I want you to imagine now that you are holding in your left hand 3 CDs, 3 photographs. You're holding those 3 scenes that you just looked at, 3 scenes of you as a child where you experienced rejection and it hurt you, it damaged you, and most of all, it made you believe that you would be rejected and you couldn't deal with it. So you see, when you're a child, you must idealize the people that raise you because you're dependent on them. That's what a dependent child is, dependent on authority figures to meet our needs. And when those authority figures reject you, there's nothing you can do about it. And that is called learned helplessness and learned hopelessness. An authority figure, an adult or an older child is rejecting you, and you have no power, no comeback. You can't say anything. You can't do anything. So keep looking at those 3 scenes. And then I want you to imagine in your right hand, you're holding another scene. And this is you today with the potential to have everything, except your fear of rejection is holding you back. And you've asked your mind, how did I get this fear? Where does it come from? Why is it still affecting me all these years later? And your mind has given you 3 crystal clear scenes and said, that's why. Those scenes then have affected you today. But you know what? The scenes haven't affected you actually. It's the meaning you attach to those scenes. It's the interpretation of those scenes that has hurt you and affected you. And now here today, you are going to change the meaning and you're going to change the interpretation, and it is going to change you in the most extraordinary, powerful, permanent way. So I want you to go back to scene 1 and I want you to say out loud, that isn't me. That's not me. I'm not 2 or 4 or 8 or whatever age you were. My friends can't reject me. A teacher at school can't make me feel bad about myself. Whatever your scene is, I want you to say out loud, that is not me, and that will never be me. I'm not 4 or 6, and I'm not in that scene, and I will never be in that scene again. Take your time. Say it in an assertive way, that is not me, and that will never be me. And now I want you to go back to the second scene, and I want you to do exactly the same thing. That isn't me. My parents may not appear to love me, but I'm not a dependent child. I'm all grown up now, and I can love me. Because when you're a child, the most important words you will ever hear come from mum, dad, older siblings, teachers. As a grown-up you, the most important words you will ever hear in the whole world are the words you say to yourself and believe. So right now, say out loud, that is not me. I'm not that dependent child. It doesn't matter if they didn't love me the way I wanted to be loved, because I'm here and I'm going to give myself everything I need. I can meet my needs better than anyone else on the planet, because I promise you, you can. And now let's go back to scene 3. And in scene 3, I want you to do the same thing. This is getting easier, getting better at it. Say out loud, that is not me. That will never be me. I'm not that little child. This can't hurt me. It did hurt me, but I'm not living in that place. I'm not learning those things. I'm not getting those messages. I'm responsible now for giving myself better messages. Now I want you to put your arm around that little child, that sweet, gorgeous you as a child. Or if they're older, take that child by the hand, and I want you to move that child back to the home you live in now. Walk them through the front door. So take them by the hand, take them in your arms, wrap your arms around yourself, and take that beautiful, gorgeous, absolutely lovable kid back into the home you live in today. And I want you to walk them room by room and go, look at where you live now. Everything is available to you. You don't live with those people who rejected you. They're not in your life rejecting you. Look, you have a phone full of friends and people that want to call you. You have stuff that you didn't have. Yes, you might have an iPhone and a Mac and a flat screen TV that wasn't available. These are things, of course, but you also have other things, tangible things. Everything is available to you. So just let yourself go deeper. And I want you to say some words out loud. It may feel silly, may feel forced, may feel fake. Who cares? I promise you it is going to change your life. So with your arms wrapped around that little kid, I want you to say out loud, I'm becoming a loving parent to you now. No one in the world can play this role of loving parent like I can. I love you completely. I love you unconditionally. You never, ever have to earn that. You're safe with me. I will always have time for you. I will always listen to you. You and I have balance now. There's nothing we can't do. And I want to do some real healing now. So I want you to think of what it is you most wanted to hear as that child. You know, we all want to hear the same words. You're a great kid. I love you. How lucky I am that you're my kid. You're smart. You're clever. You're great company. You're beautiful or handsome. You know better than me what you need to hear. So right now, I want you to say it out loud. You are a great kid. You're so smart. You're so clever. You're so interesting. You're so nice. You're good company. I love being around you. I'm so lucky that I get to be with you. And I want you to repeat that 4 or 5 times right now. You're a great kid. I'm lucky to have you. You're interesting. You're wonderful. And when you grow up, you can have everything you want because everything is available to you now. Maybe it wasn't, and now it is. And nobody can reject you unless you agree with them. As a child, you agree with them. You have no choice but to agree with older people. People are older than you. As an adult yourself, you don't have to do that. As a child, you must agree with authority figures. You are now an authority figure. So I want you to imagine something interesting. The people that rejected you, the parents, or the carers, or the relatives, or the babysitter, or the people at school that rejected you and were horrible to you and told you mean things. I want you to imagine they've moved into your home. They've had an epiphany. They want to spend every day telling you that you're the coolest person on the planet, that they just love you, love you, love you. They want to be around you all the time. They want to be stapled to your hip. So parents maybe, but it can be someone else. So the person who rejected you most has appeared in your home. They want to stay for a long time and they want to spend every day making it up to you, telling you how sorry they were, telling you how extraordinary you are. You wake up in the morning and there they are praising you. You come home from work and there they are praising you. You go to bed and they're still there praising you. How long could you take that for? Most people say minutes. My parents living in my house for like 6 months. Oh my God, I couldn't even take that for 6 hours. The bully at school wants to be my best friend and really seriously likes me. Well, I don't actually want to be their friend. They're not a nice person. And you see, what you're doing is proving to yourself that what you think you want, you don't want. And guess what? You don't even need it. You don't need what you think you need. You don't want what you think you want because what you need is what you have, you. Nobody can reject you without your permission, and you are never going to give people permission to reject you. The only person who can reject you is you. So just let yourself go deeper. And as you go deeper, understanding is power. And understanding in hypnosis really is the most phenomenal, the most transforming power. And right now you can look over, you can look around, you can look right through some key scenes in your early life where you were rejected, and you can see that you came to conclusions and opinions and beliefs when really you've been on the planet for just a few years. And today, that is all stopping. As you look over and around and through those scenes and understand how they affected you, you understand something so transforming. You understand as a grown-up, it is no longer necessary or relevant. It isn't appropriate. It isn't even remotely interesting for you to think those thoughts or believe those beliefs ever again, because you're free now. You're free to install different beliefs. You cannot be rejected. The only person who has the power to reject you is you. And guess what? You're never going to do that. You praise yourself. You understand that, yes, you may have come through some dysfunctional parents, some disadvantaged parents, but here's the truth. You came through those parents, but the universe created you. You came from the universe. It wanted you to be here. It wanted you to be you, and the universe that created you is going to support you 1,000% in being the person you were meant to be: successful, loving, loved, lovable, happy, healthy, beautiful, inside and out. So the universe created you. That's who you came from. It is going to support you 1,000% in knowing that you belong, that you're here for a purpose, that you have a gift, you have a talent. And maybe no one nurtured that gift, but guess what? The person who is going to nurture your gift is there in the room. It's you. So I want you to think of what you'd like to be, where you'd like to go. And rejection is gone. It's out of your life. It is in the past. It is all behind you. Because you have a fantastic skill of not letting it in. You have what I call phenomenal coping skills, and you will have those phenomenal coping skills for the rest of your life. People can be mean and they can be harsh, and you choose not to let it in. You don't have to let it in. Whatever other people say, you do a phenomenal job of praising yourself and recognizing yourself. So just let yourself go deeper. And as you go deeper, you're aware that understanding is powerful. Understanding is freeing. Understanding is liberating. Right now, today, you understand that people who didn't know better taught you some wrong things. And of course, they were taught the wrong things by the people that raised them. People that are unhappy try to diminish you, because unhappy people criticize. A critical person wants to make someone else feel unhappy, then they feel equal. An inadequate person wants you to feel inadequate, and then they feel equal. And superior people don't do that, they praise. Not many of us are lucky enough to have parents that praise us all the time. It is never too late to have a happy childhood. So I want you to think of all the things you want to hear, all the things you need to hear. And remember, something magical happens in the brain when you're hypnotized. The mind changes. Changes take place in the brain with transforming hypnosis. Your brain is becoming super adept at not letting in criticism, but letting in praise. Your brain is becoming transformed into not taking criticism on board. People can only hurt you if you let them. They can only diminish you if you agree with them, and you are never, ever going to do that. So feeling transformed, feeling different, feeling excited, knowing that this is one transformation today. And now that you have the ability to deflect criticism, to leave it with a critic, you can't be hurt. So just before you come back to your full awareness, I want you to take in this story. A journalist went to interview a very spiritual man with an absolute agenda to diminish him and humiliate him. So he stood in front of the holy man and went, well, this is all rubbish, and everything you say is crazy, and you're just bogus, and I don't believe a word you say. And the holy man beamed and smiled and continued to beam and smile. And the critic, the journalist, went, why are you smiling? And I keep telling you that you're fake. And he went, well, my dear boy, if you give me a gift but I don't accept the gift, who has the gift? And the journalist went, that would be me. And he went, exactly. I'm not accepting your criticism. I'm just leaving it with you. And here's your gift. If someone tries to give you a gift and you don't accept it, you're leaving it with the holder of the gift. If someone tries to criticize you and you don't let it in, you leave it with them. So remembering that story of the holy man, and it's a metaphor for you. People may offer you things that you don't want. You never have to accept them or let them in, because you're different now. You're empowered now. You're liberated now. You are so transformed. So when you're ready, you can slowly, calmly, easily, effortlessly, wonderfully come back to your full awareness, feeling liberated, feeling free, feeling phenomenal. And you're going to find that more and more images and thoughts will come to mind, and you're going to dream some extraordinary dreams. And you are going to let go of rejection hurting you. Remember that you have the power. So take that power, own that power, and when you're ready, just open up your eyes. Just take a deep breath. Come back to your full awareness, and later on you can write down what those thoughts are, but you'll never forget those scenes. But they simply can't affect you. They're like the water in the shower you last took. They're all behind you. They're out of your life. You're free. I have 3 different types of clients. My first category of clients, they want everything: love, success, money, health, but they have an interesting belief, which is you can't have everything all the time. No one can have everything all the time. They already believe that what they want is not possible, and they're already defeated because they have interesting belief. I want it, but it's not possible. My second group of clients, they actually do have it all, period. They might have a great business, it fails, they get another great business. They might have had one great marriage, but that went wrong. They're in a second one because their belief is you can have it all, but the price you pay is unbearable. You pay the price of your health, or something has to give for you to have it all. And then I have my third group of clients, the group I call the 1%ers, who have it all. They have a beautiful relationship that's long-lasting. They have an extraordinary career. They have plenty of money. They also have health and well-being, and they have inner peace too. I was able to identify the 8 transformational beliefs or transformational thinking they have. Changing people is actually, I find, incredibly easy. If you pick up these 8 transformational tools and use them, it will make your life extraordinary. And what I do is I install incredible empowering beliefs in people. But first, I take out all the old stuff. I remove all the negative beliefs, all the limiting stuff. And when it's gone, your mind is so receptive to the new stuff. But I don't think you can keep putting in new stuff while the old stuff is there, because here's a rule of the mind. It really is a rule. Your mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs. That is a rule of the mind. Science has proven it. To let in new beliefs, you've got to first get rid of the old beliefs. You can't fix what you don't understand. And you can't heal what you don't understand. And so many of my patients come in and go, I don't know why I do that. I guess I'm just damaged. I have no idea why I mess up all the time. I guess that's just me. After today, when you can go, oh, actually, I know exactly why I do that. And guess what? I don't need to do it ever again. Now your life is transformed. It's liberating and freeing. here's the thing. First you make your beliefs, and then your beliefs make you, and then you go out into the world, and guess what the world does? It matches what you believe. But the problem is that we are acting off beliefs that someone else gave us when we were tiny. And of course, the mind can't hold conflicting beliefs. So believing and longing for a wonderful relationship, an extraordinary career, while having this belief that actually no one in our family's ever made anything, we're not that bright, or we're just blue-collar workers here. So now you have one belief that will cancel out the other belief. And you've got to be very careful to make extraordinary beliefs. You want an extraordinary life? Make extraordinary beliefs.
I've looked at my clients who've got everything, and I do have some clients who have everything. They have masses of money, they have a beautiful relationship with their partner, they have health and wealth, and they have a good relationship with themselves. They go to the gym, they eat well, they put themselves first. And what I noticed about those people is that they have a couple of things they do that other people don't do. So I studied people who've got everything, and then I started to teach my other clients who haven't got everything how to have everything. And then I made this program called the Uncompromised Life, and it really is about how to have a phenomenal business that pays really well. It's about how to attract an amazing relationship that lasts forever, and how to be a great parent should you decide in that relationship you want children. It's also about how to have the stuff you want: a really great physical health, emotional health, well-being, peace, great body, a great attitude to what you eat and how you take care of yourself, and to really like yourself, have peace, and want to share it with other people. Each week there's a different lesson out of all those things, and each lesson is kind of layering onto the next one, and each week there's a hypnosis, there's a hypnotic audio to listen to. I am getting extraordinary feedback. Somebody was saying that she listened to the recording and she said, the next day I didn't know what I was feeling, and then I suddenly realized I was feeling love, like so much love for myself. Someone else came on and said she had these terrible sweaty palms. She's actually had her sweat glands clamped, and it's just stopped. People are reporting astonishing breakthroughs in their physical health, in their emotional health, in their careers. In fact, one woman, that was so sweet, she hadn't got any money and she really wanted to go to AFES, and she listened to this first day of this program, and she suddenly got this $90,000 commission a week later. As an artist, I haven't had any money for a year. I kept doing what you told me to do about manifesting, and she said, I've got the money now to go to AFES. It's like a miracle. It's an amazing program. I've been known for getting phenomenal results with my clients in one session. I'm known for that. Therapists send me the clients they can't get. Doctors and psychiatrists send me the clients they can't cure. And I'm known for taking the most difficult person and turning them around in an hour.
People who've got everything have maybe 5 habits that people don't have. And then they have a few interesting little thought habits that people who don't succeed don't have. So I started teaching my clients who haven't got everything the habits and the thoughts of my clients who have. And I wasn't actually that surprised to see how quickly they got everything, because I did it to myself and noticed how incredibly successful I became when I just did these few little things. And what I love the most about these little things is that tiny little adjustments that have results that have all proportion the effort you put in, because we're all working. Nobody wants to go, yeah, I've got this program, I've got to read a book every night, write 100 goals in a folder every night, listen to 8 CDs. I mean, nobody's got time for that, including me. An Uncompromised Life will change you while you're listening to the program. It's a bit different because it's a kind of like a lesson. I'm not teaching, that's really boring. I'm engaging with you and showing you stuff and telling you stuff and doing some fun little things with you. And then you have an audio download to listen to every week, and just a tiny little bit of written work. So Uncompromised Life is probably the best work I've ever done. My hypnosis is what I call commanding hypnosis. It's very direct, it's very compelling, it's very transforming. And so I do a lot of transformational hypnosis where you go back and you look at, where did that belief come from? Why do I do that? And when you understand, especially in hypnosis, kind of do the next bit, which is free you from it, so that you can really take on a winning attitude, a winning belief system, a winning mentality. It isn't even what you do within weeks. It actually is who you are. So this is not about what you do, it's who you become. People say to me when I go to school reunions, oh my God, you're so different. You're that insecure, self-conscious girl, which I was, so insecure, so self-conscious. I could never imagine I'd do this. And they said, what do you do? I'm like, yeah, but it's not what I do. It's just who I've become. I made some changes, and then I became those changes. I've now. It's who I am, and it's who you're going to be. So I really hope you come on board. I have a great belief that these 1%ers belong to a club, and if you want to join that club, these are the membership dues. You don't have to pay any money. You have to pick up a few new habits of thought, belief, and action, and then you join that club of people who've got everything, are really happy, and share with other people and make them really happy too. So come on board. It's a great place to be.
Every thought you think has a physical reaction. When men see a very sexual image, they have a very physical reaction to a thought. When we see pictures of food on screen, we start to create digestive enzymes. So we know that every thought you think has a physical reaction and an emotional response. And we know now, for instance, in England, when doctors are performing surgery, they're not allowed to say anything like, oh, this is a nightmare, or this is a disaster. They can't say it because they know that even under anesthesia, the mind picks up stuff. You know, we know that children pick up stuff, and the mind is rather like a child. It just believes everything it hears. So it's very important to make sure your mind hears extraordinary things and believes them, and then you can have an extraordinary life because you have a choice. When you have a brilliant brain, here's your choice. Rationalize why you feel so bad, or talk yourself out of it. I'm going to show you how to talk yourself out of it so effectively that it isn't even what you do, it's who you are. It will change your life.